Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
All right, Delora, we are back out in these pop culture streets. How are you?
I'm doing. How are you?
About the same. Feels like, all that stuff people wanted to put off till January has come down hard these first few weeks.
The circling back has commenced.
Yeah. Well, hey, Recapping Nation.
We should call it the Great Circle Back, because everything before the holidays is like circle back in the new year. It's the new year.
We hope you guys are faring a little bit better and that work isn't working you too hard. Life isn't lifing you too hard beyond the usual stuff that we are having to deal with at the moment. So this is Thursday for our podcast drop, which means that we will be talking about some headlines and some hot topics. So let's go ahead and kick things off with Drake. So previously, we had talked about Drake filing this legal petition against his record label UMG and Spotify for, Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us success, essentially. Earlier today, the day we're recording, which we record on Wednesday, it seemed that Drake had dropped this legal petition. He had gone and had a meeting with those folks. And yet, by the time we are recording, it has been confirmed that he has officially sued the label UMG for defamation. He brought this in New York and accused them of defamation in the publishing and promotion of Kendrick Lamar's hit, Not Like Us. He is seeking compensatory and punitive damages. Kendrick is not named as a defendant in the lawsuit. The suit also discusses what happened to Drake's security guard back in May of last year. Which, if you guys aren't familiar, his security guard was shot on the grounds of his estate. So he, again, is attempting to use this legal system of ours to seek some what he considers to be retribution. UMG has responded, and they said that this is illogical. They said in a statement to Variety that it's untrue and illogical, emphasizing the company's efforts to support the artist in achieving historic success. They also accused Drake of participating in conventionally outrageous rap battles and alleged that he's now attempting to misuse the legal system. Delora, I feel like we kind of knew that this wasn't just going to end at the petition. Like, as I kept hearing, a petition is just really to kind of lay the groundwork for,
and all the paperwork together.
Yeah, for the pending lawsuit anyway. So I don't think shocking to anybody, but what do you think is going to happen at this point? Do you think there's really going to be any level of monetary compensation that the label's going to owe him?
That's a great question. I think it's interesting because, to go into more detail, what I read was that Drake is alleging that UMG saw the photos, knew about the lyrics, and instead of using it as an opportunity to seize it, they continue to fan the flames. He is so hurt. He is so hurt that he lost his rap battle in such a glorious way, if you're, K-Dot fan. Because I keep thinking he's a fan. He's a fan.
It was epic.
It's the rap battle of the century, literally. This is so whack. This continues to be whack. It is giving, and I said this before, I need to talk to the manager. I was convinced that he was trying to do this to prevent Kendrick from performing, not like us at the Super Bowl. But I don't know if this is gonna be processed in enough time for that to happen.
No. And I mean, since he's not named in the lawsuit, they're not going to stop him from doing what he wants to do anyway. It's so funny because the picture that CNN has in the article of Drake is the one where he has like pink beads. And I just can't
Oh,
take Drake
this
seriously,
man,
you know?
seriously.
Part
Well,
of
the picture I'm
me,
looking at, Variety, is not a flattering picture either. So
part of me was like, Drake, are you bored? Because you could have just really let this go. Like you don't need the money. So
he
what
does
is
not.
the point? Are
But
you just bored?
the for Drake defenders, they're like, he's $1 billion brand, and this is impacting his deals, and he needs to stand on business.
All of the diehard Drake people are still diehard. Even people who weren't diehard. I was like, does this impact your fandom? No.
Yeah,
Y'all
were
know
there any
how
conversions? I'm curious.
no. Y'all know how easily people's heads are turned and swayed today anyway. This is so like 2 seconds ago at this point. Like I stopped even thinking about this, remembering this in terms of stuff that happened. So like he really could have just let this go. I'm not think no one's thinking about this anymore. No one's sitting back thinking about you, Drake. Nobody. Not even
They're
Kendrick.
not.
Not even
Not even
Kendrick.
LeBron.
Definitely not LeBron. Even though you see
I
at
did.
the Raptors game, Steph is his new bestie. They looked cozy.
Of course they did. Light skins unite.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
My words exactly. All right. Well, we may have an update on this. We may not. I'm so over it, if I'm honest, because I really just don't care. That man don't need that money. UMG's not, in my opinion, going to pay out any money, so it's very
this is
frivolous.
all ego.
Yeah. And
All
if anything,
ego.
it's probably just going to cause Kendrick to have even more of a key,
Yeah.
you know?
A minor.
Just
Sorry.
goofy.
Oh, it was so good.
All right. Let's move on to Justin Bieber unfollowing Usher on Instagram, as well as actually some other folks that I have up an article from Yahoo
Girl,
is saying that has like fans concerned.
he
Um,
unfollowed his father-in-law.
I mean, he unfollowed and I guess blocked Scooter Braun, who, was his longtime
Yes.
manager and friend. He unfollowed his former manager. He unfollowed his former bodyguard. He unfollowed his swag coach. He unfollowed a
There's a
number.
swag
I guess there
coach.
was. His name was
Oh my
Ryan
god.
Good. He was best man at Justin's wedding, So
He had his baby and was like, you know what? This is triggering. I'm gonna protect your innocence. These are the people who did not protect mine.
And I mean, it's definitely coming on the heels of people feeling like, especially with the Usher thing, that it's a connection with Diddy and everything
Yep.
that's going on there. But the
Yep.
rest of these unfollows and things, because it's people who are close to him, I don't know. Like, part of me feels like all of this is so murky in terms of relationships in these industries that I can't make heads or tails of it. I don't know if I should be
Like, why
concerned
is
with
this
Justin.
news though?
Well, because people obviously didn't have anything better to do than to go
But
research who celebrities are
yes,
following
true.
to
But
even make note.
our fave friend of the pod, Blakey, he was like, I keep my followers at like 1,500. And he's like, sorry to anybody that I've known, but if you're not doing anything on this app, I'm keeping my numbers where they are. He could just be doing that.
Uh,
You think he's quitting? He's
I don't
quitting music
I don't
altogether?
I don't think that. I think again there's probably purpose behind these unfollows. And again, maybe it is a clearing out of his his circle. He's like, yo, new year, new me. I don't like none of y'all. The energy is off. So y'all all gotta go. But I couldn't call it. I'm not a big enough Justin Bieber fan. I'm not in his universe enough to feel like there's something off or wrong. But I definitely, the Usher thing, as close as it seemed like they were at one point, is interesting because we've talked about it before and people have speculated and said, is Justin going to speak or have any be pulled into this situation at all? Or is he just kind of going to stay out the way? So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it is something that people take the time to, I mean, if you're getting paid for it, you know, if you're in one
That's
of these media
true.
outlets and you getting paid to just go see who celebrities follow and unfollow, hey, I ain't mad at you. Get that check. But there anybody else, I don't know what we're doing with our time. So we'll have to wait and see if this actually means anything or if, Justin's like, yo, I'm done with everybody at the moment. It's me, my wife, and my child.
Yeah.
Okay. Rest of y'all can kick rocks. And my mama, because I know he loves his mama.
If you don't want me, then don't talk to me.
All right.
Go ahead. Okay, that's Fantasia, y'all.
All right. So, as we've talked about with the LA wildfires, they definitely continue to rage and have an impact on, a lot of folks out there still trying to get it under control. The firefighters and first responders are. So, we've seen still a slew of things getting either canceled or postponed. And two things as a part of that are things we talked about last week, which is, or actually, no, I don't, did we talk about the Beyonce announcement last week that she
We
was
did not.
supposedly going to have?
No.
Okay. So, guys, last week, Beyonce was saying that on the 14th, which is behind us now, she was going to have an announcement. That has been postponed as she is, again, encouraging people and focused on her foundation work towards the LA fires and that relief. Same with Meghan Markle. Her show on Netflix has been postponed to March 4th.
Megan did it
Um,
first.
okay. And she also is, just trying to help, with relief efforts. I want to say something that I somehow forgot to mention last week when we were talking about Beyonce Bowl. I have gotten a chance to drink Sir Davis whiskey.
That's so funny. Shout out to Keyshawn. We just had this conversation yesterday. Like, I have yet to have it, but I will have it if somebody has it at their house. So,
Yes.
did you buy a bottle or were you at a hangout party and you tried it there?
No, I was at my grandmother's house on Christmas when I was talking about previously, talking to my little cousin. He brought the bottle. And so everybody was about to take a shot just for, the holiday. And my
Yeah.
uncle was like, what do you want? Because everybody else was pretty much drinking tequila. And I have had to give tequila, a farewell. Me and tequila, we need to
Mm,
break up.
mm, mm, mm,
So I was
mm.
like, give me dark, give me some whiskey. And my cousin was like, oh, I got Beyonce's whiskey. I said, you what? Like, how's that not the first thing you led with when I walked into the room? And so I went over, looked at the bottle, admired it. It does look really good in person.
It's a
And
cute bottle
then
for sure.
and then got my shot. I will say it's definitely not going to replace my crown. I'm a
It's
diehard
not.
crown
Oh
lover.
no, really?
No.
What
But it's
what is
also not
what's good
flavored.
about it and what's, keeping you, in crown
Yeah, it's not
territory?
flavored. What I love, I don't even love original crown. I love crown apple, crown vanilla. Beyonce's
Okay.
is, has the typical kind of whiskey, little smoky flavoring to it, which is not just my favorite to just drink. Now, I would drink it mixed. I'll probably still take another shot, but it's just not my
Hot
favorite. It's not
toddy.
going to replace in a hot toddy, absolutely. So it's not going to replace, my crown love, but I am very glad I got a chance to try it, especially on the day of Beyonce Bowl.
So it was just fine, but you'll have it again if somebody has it at a
Yeah, for sure. And
festivity.
if anything, I would love just the bottle. I feel like the bottle itself should be like a keepsake or memento, that I would
Hmm.
keep. Because some like alcoholic bottles are actually very decorative. Like, I don't know if anybody has had the Crystal Head vodka, it's Dan Aykroyd's vodka, but I don't want to throw that away. Like, it's a crystal head, literally. It's a very nice bottle. So, like, I don't want to throw that away. So it's probably one of those things for me. I'll drink it and then I'll keep the bottle.
Dan Aykroyd as in a Ghostbuster?
Yes.
Shut the front door.
Mm-hmm.
This seems way.
It was at my birthday party, Delora. You was there on the
Whoa.
bar.
That is a super cool. That's a good looking bottle. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Shout out to my mom. It's her fave. She brought it.
Oh, that's so funny. You know, I didn't drink at your birthday.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had to drive, so
And you had
um,
a little bit of a drive, wasn't next door.
yes,
So
exactly.
I feel you. I just had a little brisk walk. So I get you. All right. Well, I just wanted to share that because again, I forgot to share it on the mic. So hopefully it'll be more available because I don't even remember where my cousin said he ordered it from, but I still haven't seen it. Like, not that I frequent the liquor stores often, but I haven't just seen it sitting around at my local liquor store yet.
Yeah, yeah. Keisha and I just had that conversation, so that's kind of cracking me up. It's like, if you got it, I'll try it.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to this whole TikTok ban that's pending. Um, if you guys hadn't really been following, TikTok being a China-based company had faced legal concern, legal questions. They had to, owners, founders had to go to Washington. It had been a whole thing. It is going to be banned in the US in less than a week. And, TikTok content creators are definitely making lemonade out of lemons with some of the things I've seen of the TikTok funeral and all these different types of things on Instagram, which is hilarious. But I don't use TikTok, so I've never even signed up. It has no effect on me whatsoever with this pending ban. But I have always thought about and felt some type of way about the folks who are on there and really make money from the platform and wondering what they've flocked to. I think I saw that people have been flocking to some other platform in droves in like the last couple of weeks. But do you think TikTok is really going to get banned? I've seen like, oh, people they're going to force them to sell it to Elon Musk. I saw some other folks like, yeah, I'll buy TikTok. I'll buy TikTok. What do you think is going to happen? Is this really going to go down?
I have no idea. That's a great question. I personally didn't go on TikTok. I do have a TikTok account for our podcast, and I did that just to make sure like no one like took our name if we wanted to, be more active on the platform. But I remember there were conversations about, data security before it gained 170 million Americans signing up for it. You know what I mean? And so for me, I was a little hesitant on it. But like the more that I see the conversation about it, it just made me wonder like, oh, was someone like a Mark Zuckerberg behind it because he couldn't buy it, or it was, impeding on his territory with Meta that holds Facebook and Instagram, because that's what he does. He buys competitors or copies it. He'll copy first the features, and then eventually buys it. That's what he did with Instagram. And yeah, I highly political, in that it's all about money and power and influence. People are also arguing that the reason why there was such a push for TikTok to be banned because of the freedom of speech that Mark Zuckerberg also claims to bring through his apps. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I hope it doesn't go to Elon Musk, because Twitter has, now known as X, has gone down the garbage since he owned it. Because again, he's very similar to his political friend, in that they talk a big game, but when it actually comes to actual systems leading and execution, they fall flat
Yeah, well,
abysmally.
I don't know if he's made a formal offer. This article I have from USA Today said that Project Liberty, an organization led by billionaire Frank McCourt, has made a formal offer to ByteDance, which is the parent company that owns TikTok, for the US assets. The president said that the organization would not disclose the bid amount. Um, They have secured verbal commitments of up to $20 billion for the purchase. And Shark Tank host and investor Kevin O'Leary has joined Project Liberty on the purchase plan. So
What's the
we'll
YouTuber
see.
name? Mr. Beast or something like
Yes,
that?
he's
There,
one of the
I
people who
saw
said
headlines
he's
too. Yeah,
trying to buy it. Yeah, I don't, again, it takes a lot to get a pool of money this large that you probably are just not going to have sitting available to you like Elon Musk did with
that
the
young man
X
is only
purchase.
26 years old. Goodness gracious.
The power of YouTube.
Whew.
All right, well, TikTokers out there, I feel for you. Hopefully, you've made contingency plans if that was how you supported yourself and secured your revenue, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's
Yep.
move on to our hot topics. Celeb divorces have been hot in these winter streets, and it's crazy because it's cuddling season.
I
You know
was
what
just
I'm
about to say,
saying?
isn't it cuffing season? And
Yeah, it's
they're like,
supposed to be.
I don't want you no more.
And instead, it feels like it's spring cleaning. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So we will start with our girl, the Bachelorette, first Black Bachelorette, that is, the Rachel Lindsay. She has finally settled that divorce from Bryan Abasola. Ooh, he showed his ass, y'all. She, on January 7th, finally settled her divorce. She is going to have to pay out a $500,000 lump sum. Bryan will be able to keep the Miami home they share, as well as his 2021 Honda Accord sedan, his watch, several bank accounts, and wellness related LLCs. Rachel will be able to keep their North Hollywood home, her Porsche SUV, and other bank accounts and businesses, as well as her engagement ring and wedding band. They have to split a few assets like equity in fan controlled football league and an investment in a produce company. Otherwise, it seems like, this ish is donezo. I am so happy for Rachel that this is done. That's for damn sure. But listening to the episode of Higher Learning recently, where she actually spoke about it a little bit, I feel like she's waiting to cash in a check for a tell all.
Probably.
But
She has book deals for sure.
she basically said this has changed her views on things. She doesn't know if she's going to ever get married again. She definitely would never skip that prenup again. But that also this changes her timeline for things because, this was a big amount, a big chunk financially for her to be just having to shell out. So she
Yep.
said that she had to make concessions that she didn't necessarily want to. And in order to say her peace of mind is priceless at the end of the day, she really wanted to start rebuilding and be able to move forward. And she's able to do that now. So she's feeling really, really good about starting this process in order to rebuild. So like I said, I love Rachel. I'm very happy for her. I'm glad that this season of life is over for her and she can move forward because Bryan really turned out to be something I was not expecting. And I didn't even watch their full season of the show. I'm glad I didn't because then I probably would have
Yeah.
been more invested than I
Well,
needed
he
to
was
be.
barely in it though. That's the thing. Like when she ultimately picked him, it was actually somewhat of a shock because they had great chemistry when she first met him with first impressions, but they didn't really show him like that. He was actually quite low key amongst the guys in the house. I'm happy for her too. I still can't wrap my mind around the fact that she didn't have a prenup though. I'm like, your daddy is a freaking federal judge. Like, how is
And
you're a
she's a
lawyer?
lawyer.
How does
Yeah.
this happen? Like,
She
I
thought
would have
she
had
was
a
in it to
prenup
win
if
it.
I was in her situation. And I do understand. I mean, that's what happened with J Lo and Ben, but they settled very quickly. I
He's
guess
rich, right? She ain't about to go through these shenanigans. Ben is rich. Maybe if she had married Casper Smart, you remember him,
yeah, that's
then
true.
this would have been a concern.
Yeah. And the marriage is also very short. I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she's in a better place, especially with her mindset on rebuilding. I mean, 6 years um they were married. That's pretty impressive for a bachelorette marriage, by the
For
way.
sure. For sure. And I know now we're talking about the first bachelorette and whether her marriage is going down the tubes. Hopefully
I
not.
know. I hope not with the firefighter.
Yeah.
But I stopped following Bryan on social media when I found out he was asking for spousal support. I'm like, sir, what?
Oh, girl, I never followed that man, and I will never talk about him again after today.
It was, oh, it's gross. It's just like, I don't know. I'm happy for her. I'm rooting for her, you know, on to bigger and better.
Absolutely. She keeps saying, I'm coming home. So she definitely gonna be with a black man. All right, let's move on to the Jessicas. Okay, because both Jessica Simpson and Jessica Alba have announced splits from their longtime hubbies. We'll start with Jessica Simpson. Jessica Simpson and her husband, Eric Johnson, are splitting after 10 years of marriage and three children together. Jessica's statement read, Eric and I have been living separately, navigating a painful situation in our marriage. Our children come first, and we are focusing on what is best for them. We are grateful for all of the love and support that has been coming our way and appreciate privacy right now as we work through this as a family. This is not completely out of the blue. We had already kind of been hearing reports of trouble in paradise and Jessica stepping out without her wedding ring and all these things. But it still bums me out, I guess, just because, we've known Jessica Simpson for a long time, from
Very
pop
long
star
time.
career to the show Newlyweds
Newlyweds.
with
Yep.
Jessica and Nick Lachey. And then she had moved on and seemed like she was in such a good place with her hubby and her babies. And I wanted to see this marriage last. And, she's a successful businesswoman to boot. So, did you have any thoughts about, again, this era? It seems like we're going through with some celeb splits with Jessica Simpson.
Honestly, I haven't thought much about Jessica Simpson in a long time. I all I know is that she's rich and had a bunch of babies, and so her husband was a former NFL star. So her breaking up with him, okay. Like,
Are you a
does this mean
fan?
she's going to be, dating on the dating scene to get her name in the news again? Like, because honestly, the last time I saw anything about Jessica Simpson, she was just looking really weird, like very. She lost a lot of weight and she was slurring in a video. So don't know what that was all about. Um
Have you been a fan of like her brand over the years? Because I literally was
when
just
I
talking about
was
some Jessica Simpson
young,
shoes earlier.
I loved it a lot when I was younger. I mean, even to this day, every once in a while, I'm like, oh, that's cute. But I think I grew out of Jessica Simpson's aesthetic a while ago in terms of just like interest in it. Kind of like J Lo. J Lo brand growing up was like the brand, right? Or well, one
Was
of
it?
them. It was very popular and had really cute stuff.
She did have some good fitting jeans. I
I
remember
had
that.
the cutest peacoat from J Lo's brand, and Jessica Simpson. I feel like she's in that pocket for me. I mean, kudos to her to have a brand this long lasting. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, I still mess with
Um,
her shoes. I do. I had
I
just bought
think,
some like wedge sandals last year.
yeah, I love
Mhm.
that. So happy for her. But I feel like half the girlies now don't even know can name a song. Without you, I can let my hair down, or with you.
I
See, I'm
just
forgetting the words.
I just still think it's funny. Like somebody did the video of like, man, we really used to think that like Jessica was among some of the greatest
Great
vocalists.
singers.
And I look back and I'm like,
She was not great. And I don't know the yelling, but it sounded restrained at the same time. Like it wasn't a very open. crescendo.
I
Uh
mean, it's not that she's a bad singer. It's just like,
no,
damn, yeah, we
it's
really
not
did put
great.
her up there with like Christina Aguilera and
And
like some of
Christina would be
those
like,
chicks.
no, let me remind you with the same riff I do every time that I learned
Yeah.
when I was 10. I have not let it go since.
Yeah.
One may say it's trademarked. No, speaking of Christina Aguilera, did you see that? It wasn't a collab, but it was a coming together of Christina Aguilera and Sabrina Carpenter. And the whole time, Sabrina Carpenter is just singing there, sitting there while Christina is just literally trying to blow her out the water. I'm like, every time, Christina, every time?
Christina got a chokehold on me though with some of her like songs. I still go back to even like the Mulan
Of course.
song still goes so hard.
Yeah,
Like Reflections, like
of
I
course.
will like try my best to
Day
belt.
one, Genie in a Bottle still goes hard.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I forget what was it that was playing somewhere recently. And man, when I tell you I get caught up sometimes in public on my little singing. One time this man busted me singing and singing in the airport and I was so into it and had no idea anybody was watching me and he just over here cackling at me. It's like you like that song, don't you? I said, "Yes." Leave me be. It's gonna be me and I was going hard. But yeah, I mean that era of pop
Yeah.
I think it will always stay with me and have a special place in my heart. And Christina Aguilera was definitely a big factor in that. So, but to say all this
She
to
was number
say,
three, though. It was always Brittany, Christina, who's going to go for number one. And everyone, their number one is relative, right? Because obviously Brittany can dance, Christina can sing.
who are you
And
saying
then
is
you
number three?
Jessica Simpson, in that they kind of set it up back in the day in that way. Like
Oh, she wasn't
Jessica
even on my
trying to
list.
no, Jessica trying to like gain momentum like a Britney, like a Christina, because it all stemmed out of the whole Mickey Mouse Club situation.
Oh, gotcha. I was about to say she wasn't even because I'm thinking like, oh, you would have had like Mandy Moore. You would have had some other little
But
girlies trying
Mandy
to compete with
Moore
that.
again only had like 3 songs, maybe.
How many did Jessica have? Like, I really, I don't remember a discography. I don't remember a deep, you know what I'm saying? And it could be me. That's what I'm saying. She wasn't even, like, again, I remember thinking she could really sing, but she was not remote. It was Christina and Britney,
Candy in My
period.
Pocket was Mandy Moore, and then
What's the
she
one
might have
she
had
first came out with, though? Whatever that song
yeah, the Candy
was.
in the Pocket thing.
Yeah, that was the one. But you know what's funny? I've heard Mandy Moore sing live. She was in Dayton years ago performing like when she was like in her band. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
look at Mandy Moore. Now imagine Mandy Moore today, like post This Is Us and all this, I would probably go gaga. And she could be singing anything. And I'd be like, oh my God, Mandy, I love your work. Like not your
Yeah.
music, but your
But you know what
work.
song went platinum in my household was the Walk to Remember, and I'll take my hands and
I mean,
pray
that's just a
to be
classic.
only yours, I pray. Oh my God. The way
That
the
movie
way
will
I
break you down.
bawled
Break
my eyes
you
out.
down.
Juicy eyes.
Anyway, I wanted to go back to Jessica Simpson and her divorce and just say, like, girl, I'm
sorry,
sorry.
sorry to this man, because that's
Yeah,
how I feel about her husband too. Because I'm like, he played football. Word, did he? Not for long. I think he was
I wouldn't
mainly
know.
Jessica Simpson's husband.
I would have no idea. You have to ask somebody who gets into football like that. I wouldn't know, but it makes me sad. I'm
He's
sorry for the,
handsome, so I mean, and
yes,
tall. So
yes. I'm
you
sorry
know,
for the dissolution of this marriage, but if it's for the
yep,
best, God bless. All right, Jessica Alba and Cash Warren, they were even longer. What has it been? 16 years that they were
yeah.
married, three
And I didn't
kids
even
as
know who
well.
he was. Frankly, I
No,
just knew she was, and he's mixed. I had no like
mixed with
his
what?
black.
What?
Yes, he
First
got
time I'm hearing this in
African
my life.
American in his blood.
I just thought he had some something. No idea
You
that
thought
him
he
and
was like a
Tori Kelly
Latino or something.
were walking around here with black in their blood. Because I tell you, when I found out Tori Kelly's grandfather was black, and I was like,
Yes.
Should have
Her
known.
parents, both her parents are mixed with something, and then there's her kind of deal. It's given
Yeah.
Mariah.
Yeah.
Well,
Even though
Mariah's
Mariah
dad
will
was
say my
black.
daddy was black.
Yeah,
Okay.
right,
Don't
right,
play me.
true.
But yeah, I mean, it makes sense with Jessica and Cash, Jessica Alba and Cash Warren, because Cash is a divorce attorney. No, I'm sorry. He's a divorce
Girl,
attorney. She's
no.
retained a divorce attorney. I'm tired. Let me tell you, I'm tired. He's not
Woo!
a celebrity. Let me
Yeah,
just say that.
Cash Daddy's black.
Wow.
Yep, I told you. I'm like, no,
Today, years
he's not
old.
far away from the Negro.
Today, years old. Hold
But
on.
you know his daddy. His daddy is an actor, former basketball player. Um, he was in City of Angels. Let's see. His dad's name is Michael Warren, and he's always played like the handsome black
Oh
man.
my God. That is his father? Guys, Google Michael Warren. I had no idea this is
Yes,
Cash Warren's daddy. Full, like a black man. Like
yes. No,
black.
no confusing. No.
Wow. Today years old. Thank you for that. That's my fun fact of the day. Cash Warren's daddy is black. Who knew? Well, Jessica said I'm gonna keep some flavor no matter what in
Hey,
her
honey.
marriage. Okay. And so what I was trying to say earlier is that she has retained a divorce attorney. Cash Warren is a film producer. So that's I mean, he's never been like in the spotlight, right? She was the
Never.
star that we
Yeah,
know, the actress, all these things. Was very cute in all her roles, always been a badass with action in certain roles, all that. That's what we know Jessica
I'm
Alba as.
always abs.
Yeah. And then she started her company
Honest,
and
which is the
became
billion
again,
dollar brand.
yes, a businesswoman.
Yep,
So, it's
wealthy.
this one, just like Jessica Simpson, it had we'd heard some rumblings, and I think they
Yes.
even pulled up something that Jessica Alba said a while back, where she was like, the first 2.5 years are great, and then you basically become like roommates, and it was like, well, damn, okay. So I don't know. This seems like this maybe a relationship just kind of ran its course, but it's still sad. I mean, again,
Yeah.
if a household's breaking up and all that, it's always sad. But hopefully, it seems like based on the article, they're remaining, on good terms, and it just is what it is. So
Yeah.
long as the family is good, I'm glad. Yeah. Anything else on our celebrity divorces?
I'm on his Instagram right now, and he has a post with him and his father. And the first comment was like, is he black? Because
Because who freaking knew?
he was calling out his dad, saying, AKA my hero, my pops. Yo,
It's
people,
because he's not like one of those celebrity children too that we
he
would
is,
have known.
no, that's true. And he's frankly passing. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Again, I thought
so
he had a little something in him, but I didn't think it was black. That man is biracial, like
literally,
legit.
yeah.
Okay, good to
Yep.
know. All right, let's move on to the somebody's inauguration. I'm not really claiming it.
I decided that I'm going to refer to him as Felon 45. And
Okay, catchy. It's very catchy.
you know who I'm talking about? Tell me you know who I'm
Absolutely.
talking about.
Everybody knows who you're talking about. And the audacity for it to fall on MLK Day this year is just
Girl,
upsetting.
listen.
So upsetting. But I won't be paying any
Unreal.
attention to it. It'll be I may just need to do like a Martin Luther King documentary marathon or something just to help me get through the day. Cause I'll still be off because I'm black and it's a national holiday.
I took the day off. My company doesn't have it off. But we have floating holidays. And I was like, you know what? I am not going to be available on that day.
Mm-hmm.
I would have scheduled a spa day, but I already had my spa day for the month. I got a facial, a sculpting facial. It was my first time. It was lovely.
Very nice. 10 out of 10 recommend.
I do. I'm looking forward to trying other options though. That's on my, you know, 2025. I don't want to call them resolutions, but goals, sure. 2025 goals. Because I
Self-care.
took a break from my nails. I used to get my nails did all the time, and I had to take a break. And so I was like, well, let's explore. Let's be more of a spa girly this year. Let's have fun with that.
Sounds good to me. I need to schedule my next massage as we speak. All right, so about this felon 45 situation, we have to talk about these performers that for some reason have signed up to be a part of this spectacle. And the biggest one I sent you a text about because I was like, I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm disgusted, is Carrie Underwood. She has agreed to perform America the Beautiful during the swearing in ceremony. She said, I love our country and am honored to have been asked to sing at the inauguration and to be a small part of this historic event. I am humbled to answer the call at a time when we must all come together in the spirit of unity and looking to the future. I had to say that with some level of like flair because it's so disgusting. That's the only word I got for you. To think that y'all are really about to be a part of this and feel good about it. Delora, you responded that you were a fan of this woman
I
and that you
was.
are not anymore.
I can't say I'm not anymore in that like I hadn't listened to Carrie Underwood. She had been off my radar for years, but watched her on American Idol, Jesus Take the Wheel, Before He Cheats. I even have some favorite songs off of her earlier albums. She's a rock star. She's a star in the country music world, and she's had some hits because she can sing. But seeing this, I was like, oh, this tracks, and it's disappointing. Actually, I saw a video from Don Lemon who dredged up some CMA videos back in the day, right around the time that the Affordable Care Act was passed. And as you know, it was not a smooth transition in the beginning because guess what? Government. But guess how many people signed up for the what's the acronyms? Affordable Care Act, ACA. It's part of everything we do now as a country when it comes to healthcare. But back in the day, they used to call it Obamacare to get people, scared and hating it. But it was a skit with her and Brad Paisley, and they were just talking about, oh, I tried to sign up for it, and it took me 4 days to do it. And they were just making fun of it. And the video was very telling because they were sitting up making fun of it, obviously saying they don't want it,
Mm-hmm.
and you got my booze, Faith, and her husband. They were
Tim?
not laughing. Tim McGraw, they weren't laughing. Taylor Swift was still in country. She was not happy, but like Blake Shelton was having a kiki. And so Keith Urban wasn't laughing. But it was just, it was the CMA. What do we expect? Like
Well, I mean, again, they mentioned when this was announced, oh, she hasn't really talked about politics, much in the past, but I've never paid her that much attention. Besides her winning American Idol, and I know she can sing, I've heard her sing before. And I mean, I'm not a big country music consumer in general, so it's never really been somewhere, so a genre that I have like people that I'm like, oh yeah, I follow their career in that way. But I was still just really, really, really disappointed. As a woman, as someone who I feel like should have seen, I guess all let me say this. All the people I'm gonna end up naming who have agreed to perform is disappointing because they always made it seem like in his first inauguration, oh, they had a hard time booking people. And then it seems like with this one, oh, it was a cake walk to get people to sign up. It
That's
shouldn't
the
that be the
part
opposite?
that
Shouldn't it be the
that's the
first time
part
you didn't
that's
know
blowing my mind.
and now you
Like
should know
even
better?
freaking Stephen A. Smith was
Yeah.
recently talking about I was misinformed by and I felt peer pressured in voting for Kamala Harris.
He
What
never
the fuck are you
identified what he
talking
was
about,
misinformed
sir?
about. So still very unclear.
He never said it, but he said he felt pressured as a black person.
I'm gone.
Sir, are you and it made me so upset because it's like there are people who equate winning to being right, and that's not the case. Just because he won does not mean
Yeah,
morally
when he did that
that was
whole
the right thing to do.
when he did that whole speech about this is the biggest comeback ever after the election, I was like, I mean,
Yes,
that tells me everything I need to know about you right there.
yes. Like this is not a sports team, and that's the thing that people don't understand when it comes to politics. They treat it like it's like, oh, we're on rival teams. People's lives are in the balance.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is not just who got more championships.
Yep. Yep. Additionally, performing is Christopher Macchio, who's a classical performer, classical tenor. Lee Greenwood, who's also a country singer. Kid Rock, K surprise, surprise. The Village People, at least the lead surviving member, Victor Willis. Billy Ray Cyrus. Liberty University's Praise Choir. Jason Aldean. Rascal Flatts, Parker McCullum, and Gavin DeGraw. Very country heavy. And there you go. So those are your performers for Felon 45's moment on Monday. So,
Kelly Clarkson would never. That's all I gotta say.
I mean,
She did. She performed at President Obama's inauguration.
I would hope not. I would hope not. I would hope not. But speaking again of this moment on Monday, Michelle Obama said, I don't fuck with you.
I love her so much for this. I've already loved her. I've been, I love her. But this right here, oh, epic.
I just appreciate that she's such a real one that she said, I don't care about convention. I'm not coming to Jimmy Carter's funeral if y'all sitting me by that man. I'm not coming
Period.
to this ridiculous spectacle y'all want to call an inauguration for someone who has threatened the lives of my family, done so much harm. I'm
The
not,
lead of
no,
an insurrection.
I'm not doing this. I'm not playing this game. Barack, if you want to go kiki, that's on you.
And like people were making a big deal about him talking to Felon 45. And I'm like, this is what black people do all the time. What do you mean? Like we go into the workforce and talk to people who actively try to undermine us, who question whether or not we belong there all the time. And do we go in nucking if you bucking? Of course not, because we gotta keep it cute. What else was he supposed to do sitting next to that man? That's the whole point of
Remarkably,
the American democracy is our ability of transferring of power. The fact that we don't physically go to blows in Congress. You know what I mean? Even
mhm.
though that one lawmaker talking about meet me outside, child,
Yeah, she ain't really about that smoke.
she is
Um,
not. And if that were reversed, Sister Crockett would have been expelled or something.
yeah, or just said she was aggressive and all those things. I just want to mention real quick that in this article I'm reading from MSNBC, they're saying remarkably, three tech billionaires, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos will have prominent placement at the inauguration.
because they kissed the ring. The fact that Melania Trump has a $40 million documentary set up through Prime, nothing about that woman is that interesting. $40 million, to me, that seems like a laundered opportunity to give this man money and say it's for some crusty ass documentary that nobody's going to watch.
Mm. All right. Well, I am again very happy that Michelle is standing her ground. This is why she didn't want to be president, because she ain't dealing with the foolishness.
Not at all.
Why am I
I
going to show
wish.
respect to someone who shows such disrespect? They didn't even go to
Oh
Biden's
my God.
inauguration.
They did not. And the
So,
same thing with Vice President Kamala Harris. She did not invite JD Vance because guess what? Mike Pence didn't offer her that. So these are precedents that were already established. So get your rest, Black woman.
indeed.
92%.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that is all we have for today, Delora. What are we recapping for the people for next week?
Aaron, P.S. Mufasa. Girl, we are recapping Netflix hit movie Rebel Ridge. Again, available on Netflix. If y'all want to hear us talk about it, check it out.
All
Check it
right.
out.
And if y'all, I'm sure everybody's seen the video that Delora was referencing. If you have not, it's all over these internets.
You've been under a bus.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you as always for joining us. Please share this episode with everybody you
Thank
know.
you.
We appreciate it. Feel free to drop us some comments on today's headlines and hot topics. We will be back with that recap of Rebel Ridge. But in the meantime, as always, be blessed.
Bye.